All right, welcome in Garden Report live. Sorry, it took us a minute. Actually, we were just bullshitting. There was no good reason.
Yeah, we're not
late.
sorry.
We're like, should we let these guys in?
We're warming up.
Let him into the club.
Yeah.
Like that's
Industry
what makes
talk.
it, so entertaining. We warm up a little bit.
A little shop talk first, but an entertaining game. Definitely. I mean, to a point, entertaining in the sense of you got to see couple of good things that you wanted to see.
Yeah, you saw things you wanted to see. That's why it wasn't a competitive game, but
no,
it was
Summer League.
I mean, let's put it this way: I'll speak for myself. I'm a lot happier with what I saw from some of these guys than I was after game one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I speak for everybody, but I'll just speak for myself. But I think I speak for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Well, that's the thing. Look, what did we want to see? I mean, our biggest takeaway last time was, God, man, you really want to see Neesmith be able to dominate against these guys, and then he dominates tonight. Great.
Yep.
You want to see the sophomores dominate. Let's be
apology,
honest
Cam, to John. John did not want Neesmith to hit any shots. He said it wasn't important. But I think we can all agree that it's a lot better when he hits his shots.
5 for 5 from beyond the arc. Come on, you were cheering, John. I didn't see.
That's not the point.
Once again,
John did not want to see any shots go down, so he's fuming tonight. But they were dropping.
There's a 95% chance you didn't tweet a single thing about that.
Our commenters thought we were mean because we were like, we want more from Neesmith last game.
But you know what?
And then you get it, and we're happy. Okay?
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated.
But Zannis, if he went 0 for 5, you would have been all over Twitter. Oh, but what's going on, guys?
The point was you want to see things come a little easy to him. So I liked look, the shot is the shot. Like, I believe over time, if he does nothing but stand in a corner and just gets the ball every once in a while and shoots threes, that he'll have an NBA career. But you want to see him be a good player. You want to see him get guys off the dribble, look for opportunities, get to spots, be in the right spot, and that was a problem last year. We were joking how many times with the ball rotate around and Neesmith would be standing right next to another guy and they'd be like, dude, what are you doing here? Go.
Right.
So you want to see him be in the right place, but you want to see him be assertive. Went to the basket a couple times.
Stage. Right. This is a stage. It's different than seeing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown next to you, on one side and Tatum on the other. So
that was, again, the thing with that last year is, why were we crying for Neesmith to play? Those games when like Tatum was out or Brown was out and they were down a lineup and then they still wouldn't start him. I'm like, come on, man. You really wanted to see him against top level NBA talent play 32 minutes in a game and then and have the coach tell him, just go, man. Just pretend you're in college and you're the best player on the team and just act as if. Go out and take 18 to 20 shots tonight. Just go.
Right.
And let him do that and feel okay, not like shoot it and then look over and be like, I missed. Am I coming out?
And run circles around people and
then go crash into somebody.
Your teammate.
Well, be in the game and not have those blinders on, right? We used to talk about that during the season.
But look at this line. I mean, this is what a star player's line looks like. And I know it's summer league. It doesn't translate.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But that's what you want. Exactly. And that's what we were seeing guys on other teams over the last couple of days put up these stallions. And we were like, this is what we want a guy like Neesmith or a guy like Romeo to do, or maybe even Pritchard to an extent. So, this is what we're talking about. Don't give me this, oh, well, the Celtics, they're going into this thing like they have defined roles and they want to, sort of mimic what they're going to be doing in the, regular season. It's like, no. I want these guys to go off on some of these opposing players who have no business, sniffing the NBA. Prove it. Show it that you belong and they don't. And that's the type of performance you got. And it's 7 of 9 from 3. Like, that's the type of player you thought you were getting when you drafted the quote unquote best shooter in the draft last season. So great.
We really we had massive FOMO after the Celtics game. You watched every other team play, and it was like this guy goes off for 30 and this guy goes off for 28, and we were like,
well,
and Bobby,
they've
Mr.
got
Positive, on the text chain was like, this guy's so much better than Neesmith already.
Right.
Just shaking your head a little bit.
Can't wait to hear from him. It's going to be interesting.
Come on, you're going to post Romeo Stunk again, man?
I'm just going backwards in time
without
here.
Without at least mentioning. You have to mention that dunk. I mean, that was
Romeo killed someone. How about that?
Literally, there was a murder. He might be going straight to jail. I don't know what the system's like in Las Vegas over there, but he might be going straight to jail after that. And honestly, That was awesome because we said it in the last show. It's like, and even Scal mentioned it on the broadcast. They want to see more effort, more like energy out of
Purpose.
Romeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like him throwing it down like that. I mean, he did something that I haven't seen anything like that from him.
Remember, he had a
I knew
couple
he's
blocks
athletic.
last year. He had a couple times,
Yeah,
couple big
flashes.
blocks last year, and you're like, whoa, he got up. Who was it? He two-hand blocked at the rim. Really big play. I can't remember exactly who it was, but everyone was like,
no clue.
Okay, like that's a flat.
He extended back on this dunk today.
We love our.
That's what I liked about it most.
We love our analogies. Like Romeo's game tonight was like you went out in golf and you shot 100, but you friggin' nutted a 7-iron from 172 yards out on the last hole, like 2 inches from the pin.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, boom, and that's what that was. It's like
that's what you'll talk about.
I was like, I could be that guy if I could just
put it all together.
If I could just put it together, I could be that guy. And you see it and you're like, oh, that was something. Even last game, he dicks around all game and then he just bang, bang, hits 2 threes. And we're like, oh, so Romeo had the game winner,
Well, I feel like it was because he wasn't like thinking this time, right? He wasn't overthinking at least, Like I feel like last game we saw some of that hesitation, but then we saw flashes where it was like, okay, it's coming together. And I thought this one, it was just in this game, whether it was for, the 5 3-pointers or just the overall in transition, being assertive, being involved on the offense, the way he was, that was the sort of Neesmith that everyone envisioned going into the last season, but it wasn't realistic. He didn't have this last year. He didn't have a summer league or a training camp. So it's good to see him doing it now.
And honestly, that's huge for the confidence.
I want the Spanish commentary. If someone could send that to me, please do.
That'd be awesome. I
want to see that.
I'll take that for the whole game.
So, we said we'd start with Schroeder, but we started with the game. That was pretty cool. This comment here from Dave D is kind of interesting just because it takes me into a different place. Ime Udoka was there and he talked. Man.
Everyone's gonna feast.
Huh?
No, I was saying everyone's gonna feast because of Schroeder. But the graphics go hand in hand right there,
No, but the thing that Udoka said was he's looking for Tatum and Brown to be more playmakers this year. Mm-hmm. And while that feels like a rah, let's go get him sort of thing, that's a little shot across the bow as far as I'm concerned, which is like, okay, like it's a compliment sandwich, It's like they're elite scorers and we love them, but we want them to be better playmakers because they're so awesome and that'll make us a better team. It's a little compliment sandwich of like, guys, we got to get you to get everybody else involved. We want the key, the subtext to we got to be a better passing team is our stars can't hold on to the ball forever, and really it is. That's the case. You need your point guards to be able to do things. And again, the Schroeder acquisition is huge and we'll get to that in a minute. But whatchamacallit?
What you don't
Tatum and Brown have to get their guys involved for sure. Yeah.
And I think they're already doing that right now just by being in Vegas. Like, I think that's huge. Like, honestly, after everything I say about these two and being elite, like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I wish I had suggested it a couple of months ago. Like, they should be there. And, and that's something that sends a clear cut message for these guys. Like,
I'm with you, Dud. But anyway,
it was good that Grant Williams showed up.
It sends that message. I'm with you. Like, we're all in this together, and I don't mind going out to Vegas for a week to kick it with you guys. Obviously I've been there, and I can sort of show you the ropes here, but also I have your support, starting this thing up from the bottom. I think it's a humongous step for those two in terms of what they mean to this team and showing that leadership early.
Yeah. Jimmy, you were going to say?
I was going to say, Grant Williams showed up to Summer League after all too. I heard that he was in the building.
Well, Tatum and Brown pull up. I mean, you have to, right?
I just like, does Grant Williams sit there and be like, "Oh shit! Like a lot of these guys are better than me," and I'm watching.
Sherrod did an interview with him, right? And he wrote it up the other day, and the Grant says, I didn't go play because I want to be working on my body and stuff like that, and this and that, and then he shows up to hang out.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't get that. Like,
he didn't listen. He didn't want to go. This is why he didn't go.
I want to go to Vegas to hang, but I view it as a bit of a slight to play. I
honestly think that he had more to lose by playing than he did by not playing. More people would have been like, Grant Williams is getting worked by, player X on the other. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point for him to do that, and maybe that was the thing behind him not playing. Was that he didn't want to be the
I can understand Grant not playing, sort of, because I think he is who he is. Like, he's honestly like pretty close to his ceiling already. Where like a guy like Romeo and Neesmith, you're still waiting to. You want them to develop.
Definitely.
You want them to dominate. You know, like Grant just is what he is. He's a role player, and I think he'll continue to be. Like that's they kind of it's like drafting a third line, fourth line, checking line forward. Like, what do you expect him to be? Like, he's going to go out there, he's going to muck it up. He might do a good thing here and there, but the expectations are limited. I think Grant being serviceable, playing there as like your third or fourth center, being able to play in a small ball lineup when you want to go there as your 10th, 11th guy, fine. Those expectations are small, but like Romeo and Neesmith and Pritchard, you need them to be legit rotation players, and you want to see them dominate. And like, again, going back to it, Pritchard tonight, Pritchard looked like he was like toying with people.
Pritchard looked great.
Looks like he's toying with them.
He looks like,
right now.
And he's not even in shape, and he looks and he's just like, I'm better than all these guys out here.
You heard that Schroeder
I
news, and he
started
was
seeing
like,
it in the second half of the first game. Go ahead, Jim.
No, you heard that Schroeder news, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna make sure that I don't get bumped too far down the depth chart
that's
here."
a good call, Jimmy. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah,
but he's impressing me with his shot is nice, and it wasn't that it wasn't nice in his rookie year, but like
he's been practicing.
It's getting nicer. Yeah, I mean, he's getting further and further back, and he looks pretty confident out there shooting the ball. And honestly, if he's the type of guy that comes in and just gives you that like sort of quick offense off the bench, like how much did they need that last year? They needed that all damn season.
Right. Well, how much do they need that threat? That alone, especially if he can.
That's their Patty Mills, right there.
Consistent from back there, but like obviously had that range that scares opposing teams and just spreads the floor for the rest of your teammates out there. That'd be huge. I think he's definitely putting an emphasis on that this summer for sure.
Yeah. So let's we'll start. We're definitely going to talk more game. We've got Bobby Manning. We're a little worried about the guy. Little feller's out in Vegas all by his own. It's his first.
Told us he was going to walk to the game. We're like, whoa, wait a second.
It's like I sent my youngest out to sleepaway camp for the first time. I'm nervous for him.
Yeah. We've got him on. We all have him on. Find my cell phone. We're all tracking.
I'm nervous. He's called me like 10 times today. I sent him a care package.
Did you pack his lunch?
I did.
John's wife is like, he's gonna be fine. You're like,
I packed him like 10 underwear, even though he's only there for 5 days.
Swimmies in case he wants to go into one of the pools.
I want to make sure he's okay. So he's out there. He's doing his thing. Sherrod's there as well. We're expecting. I think they're in on the press conferences now. Those guys are talking, and we did. We lost Bobby already. He's on the roof. He's on the roof somewhere.
This is summer Bobby, instead of what is it? The Hangover. This is like toss Bobby in that group, except he's just by himself.
No. So anyway, so we're hoping. I mean, I can't wait. I want day by day pictures for Bobby too. Like day one, all bright eyed and whatever. I want to see what Vegas does to him before it's over. He's out there for the full run.
He's ripping a pack a day by the end. Like he's just like super negative and like addicted to blackjack.
Just jaded.
Yeah.
So
and say you're not supposed to do any more than 3 days in Vegas, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Most people can't.
Sherrod there too. So as we said, we'll get to those guys when they come in, and we'll circle back to the game. But let's hit the news of the day. This was awesome. There's no way to. There's no bad thing about this. Like this is.
We tried.
No, this is a huge.
John went through it.
No, I'm saying there's no This is an off-season saving move. Like you just got a $20 million player for $5 million.
Pretty much, yes.
You really did. You basically got as good a guy as you could have signed if you jumped into free agency and spent all of your money early, and you got him late with filling the exact position of need that you needed more than anything, and for nothing, for 1 year and for 5.9. Right. And who knows what happens after this? Now you've all of a sudden got some interesting things, not only what it does on the court, and I want your guys' take on like how the fit is here. But beyond that, now you've got things you can theoretically do. Can you package Marcus now? Yeah, maybe you can. Can you, if you like Schroeder and it works out here, can you try to re-sign him next season? Absolutely. You've hedged your bets against everything going to shit next offseason, theoretically. So there's a couple different things that work, but on the court, this is phenomenal for what they need. Like, you got a baller, and I think people really do forget, and they talked about it in the broadcast a bit, like, the Lakers were curb stomping people early in the year when they had everybody healthy, including Schroeder, who was
going off. Yes.
Who was a massive upgrade for them, and then everything went to shit for them. But like that, for a while they looked unbeatable, and Schroeder was a huge part of that. I love this. I love it.
You said it all, John. I mean, at the end of the day, he fits that criteria, right? We've been talking about. Oh, the Tatum and Brown, they need that pass first kind of point guard. Someone like Lonzo Ball, someone who can offer some of that offense as well. I mean, this is it. And in terms of the deal, there's nothing here to not like about it. A motivated,
but he's a scorer too. He's instantly your third scorer.
And he knows that. And he knows how much he can flourish in here. And what's the first thing he says? And I know it's a PR move to say the least, in the sense of, like, you're supposed to say these type of things, but like, he has so much respect for this organization, and that's genuine. We know how Rajon Rondo in his years and his heyday, and that sort of how that influenced him, and how Dennis Schroeder said that he modeled his game after that. I mean, so he's got that bit of that Celtics pride. But man, to hear that from someone like Schroeder, I think it obviously coincides with the whole rebuilding this culture and having that type of attitude. And on top of everything, what do we say we want out of the point guard, right? Out of point guard X that's ideal for this team. He gets it done on the defensive end. He could be an anchor on that defensive end. You put him next to Marcus Smart. Are you kidding me? Ime Udoka coaching these guys, with this background, what's there not to like about this signing? I mean, I love it. I think the Celtics, they're in a great position right now with this signing for sure.
Yeah. We talked about it I think it was the last show, because that was when we talked about the rumor. I think it was the last show. And the reason why I thought there was some smoke to it is because there just weren't that many teams left that could have signed this guy. And that's why I was like, well, the Celtics appear to be a good fit for him because of the players they have, in their starting lineup, Tatum and Brown, Smart, obviously, go down the line. This guy would be on a prove-it deal on a team that, looks to have some nationally televised games, looks to hopefully make a playoff push, all those things. So he could sign with them on a short-term deal and sort of try to build his worth back up. So it's a win-win. I mean, you like to get a player, like you guys mentioned, that's right around $20 million. I know he might think he's worth more. They talked about that a lot on the broadcast, so we won't harp on it. But you get a player at that value, 5.9. You avoid that taxpayer. What was it? The mid-level of 9 point whatever, and it's just a great deal. I mean, I hadn't even thought about it.
They didn't hard cap themselves by doing the full. They did the taxpayer one, so they still have some flexibility. Like, this was perfect in a million different ways.
I didn't even think about yet. Like, now does that make Marcus Smart expendable? I mean, it definitely does. I mean, maybe if you think that you can get a pick and some player back, or whatever you want to do, maybe you can do that. But I don't think that was the intention. I mean,
I don't think it is either. I just think it opens up possibilities.
It opens up possibilities, but it just makes them so much better because now you have a legit guard who can facilitate, who is, as Josue mentioned, can play defense. I mean, this guy, when he's on, he's a pest out there. He's got those long arms. He gets in your face. He gets under guys' skin. I mean, he's one of the probably more disliked players in the NBA.
Well, he's an asshole.
Exactly, but when he's on your team, that makes it that much better. It was like the Rondo effect, the Draymond Green effect. You know what I mean? Like, go down the line. I mean, he's one of those guys. And what we said last year about this team is that they were kind of soft. They didn't really punch back. They didn't really have that attitude about them. And I think Schroeder has a little bit of that to him. He doesn't really give a shit. He'll just go out there and, do his thing, play his game. Now, obviously, you want that to be, just when it comes to the opposing team. I don't know how his personality is or if it will clash with other players. I hope it doesn't. I know this, for whatever reason, this Celtics team has had, some personality clashing over the last few years. So I don't know how that's going to change things. But as far as a fit standpoint and a talent standpoint, like you guys mentioned, I mean, you really couldn't do much better than this. And I think it honestly makes them from like a fringe playoff team to like, middle of the pack type team if you can stay healthy.
Back into the 5-6 seed conversation. Yeah. I like this comment from Andrew, the Schroeder, the enforcer, and here from Sebastian,
Oh, good.
I love this. Like I actually like we don't have enough. Like you need guys who get under people's skin. You want I don't want shirt exchange. You know me. Like we've talked about this. I don't want daps and shirt exchanges and all of this stuff. And hey,
Right. Yeah, I'll hit you up
we're
after
all
the
buddies.
game. Yeah.
I hate that. I want people to hate us.
I want a guy that has no numbers in his phone book. He talks to nobody. He just he only plays basketball.
Yeah.
He doesn't even get dinner, on the off
Nah,
days.
he doesn't even eat.
Now this is a decent comment here from Isaiah. Afraid Schroeder becomes Rozier. There's Rozier in his game. He is a scoring.
You're afraid of that?
No, meaning like that he's going to want to get his. A guy in a prove it year, and now you do have some issues here. If you got to re-sign Smart because you got Schroeder and Smart both in contract years fighting for relevance and who's going to be the guy and proving it for their next contract. That could get messy.
A little bit, but if they start to press and like do things that is out of what their capabilities are, they're not going to improve their worth that way. I mean, the more that they can show that they can help teams win, the more teams are going to be interested in them as free agents. I mean, I think both players have that in them. Like they're a type of player that can help a good team become better. Similar. I would say similar level, talent level. To be completely honest, I mean, we were just talking about Marcus Smart deal, like just south of $20 million. So I mean, you're already saying right now that they're right in the same ballpark, assuming that Schroeder accepted that deal when it was offered to him. Obviously, it wasn't on the table this year, but they're right in the same ballpark, I think, in terms of what their worth is to teams around the NBA.
In different ways, but absolutely. Yeah. Schroeder is a guy who's, like I said, he's legitimately your third offensive option on this team now, with no doubt about it. Without Fournier being here, he's as far as guys with their ability to score. I mean, he's not a lights out shooter by any means, but he's a guy who can score the basketball, as they like to say.
In different ways, yeah.
He's
different ways. Aggressive. I mean, put it this way too. Will you rather take Schroeder on this deal or Fournier, 4 years, $80 million, or go down the line, or even like Alonzo Ball. I mean, somebody I think in the comments mentioned like obviously they're not the same player, but they're not that far off, and you're getting a guy for 1/3 of what Ball's making, and just 1 year. And like you said, if it's a great match, maybe there's a future for him here in Boston, and if not, then thanks for playing or whatever. Maybe they can flip him in another sort of trade or some sort of package. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's by design, honestly. I think putting those two together is by design. And it's gonna that competitiveness between the two is gonna make for some really good defense for this team. It's gonna really establish
some good practices
that we've been talking about for weeks. But it'll be interesting at the trade deadline. Maybe one of them, maybe they get flipped. Well, we'll see which one.
There's a lot of people in the chat right now. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat right now saying he's not great at defense. Look, when we're saying he's good at defense, we're not saying he's not Marcus Smart. He has enough size to not get absolutely.
I'll pull up his stats.
He's a competent defender. He's a pesky defender. We're comparing Schroeder to what has Brad had or what has this team had at the point position for all of these years. You're talking about Kemba, Kyrie, Isaiah Thomas, okay? He's miles ahead of those guys in terms of his ability to play defense. He's not Smart, okay? But he is absolutely a guy who can pester guards, who's not teeny where he's going to be exploited size-wise all of the time. And between Smart, Richardson, and who knows if Dunn sticks or not, probably not. But Jalen, you can lock down the perimeter a lot better than you were able to before. And now you have, again, defensively, you can do more things with him out there, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. Now the great debate is going to be
27. He's not even that old either. 27.
Yeah, also, I was going to say for Schroeder, I feel like it's more of an IQ thing, right? Like his reads, the way he can read an offense. I think that's where his strength lies on the defensive end.
Yeah, Yeah, great debate here. Who starts? In your mind's eye right now? I think there's arguments for both. I have an opinion, but what do you guys think?
Who starts? I think probably Smart at this very moment.
Yeah, I think it's Marcus's job to lose.
Continuity
factor. Who should? Who would you start? Like, who do you think will and who would you start?
I see it as honestly like a quarterback battle, like what's going on in New England. Although everyone pretty much knows Cam's going to get the start. It kind of feels like it's going to be like Smart as Cam and Schroeder's like Mac. And like, I bet you Smart starts game 1, but I wouldn't like say that it's like definitely Smart's job for like the season, depending on how things shake out. I mean, depends. I mean, I don't know. It's a good question, obviously. I mean, I'm obviously guessing, but I just think you'll ruffle a lot less feathers too at the very beginning of the season. Obviously, that being said, it would be tough to like bench Smart in the middle of the year, or at some point during the season for like whatever reason. But I don't know. It's a good question. I'm on record as saying the way Smart plays sometimes is detrimental to Tatum and Brown. But if they want all these guys, like Ime is saying, if they want all these guys to start passing more, and I think also what he said tonight is Smart has asked for the role of being the distributor. If he truly means that and he truly can, embrace that role and dish the ball to those guys more, then I'd probably give the slight nod to him. I want to see Schroeder with these guys before I just give him the starting job.
Yeah. Josue, what do you think?
Fun to watch. That's gonna be fun to watch. I think it's Marcus's job to lose, and I think that could happen. Honestly, I think Schroeder's that good, especially because what he gives to you on both ends, especially offensively. Like we've seen Schroeder when he gets going, he can. I mean, I'm not gonna call him a closer, but he can put in that fourth quarter work that'll separate a team. That'll create the distance. And to your point, would you let off with so perfectly, might I add. John, that stretch of games with the Lakers, man. Like, remember all the hangover? Schroeder came in like, oh, I don't know about that. Here we go, guys. Like, I'm here to do this, and it looked like that was going to be, that's going to carry over into the postseason. Obviously, it didn't. Injuries and COVID and things stacked up for the Lakers team as a whole. But I mean,
was just going to ask that.
For what it's worth, for that championship team. What he was doing throughout that stretch, it was impressive for sure.
I was just going to ask that. Lady 2G stole my thunder.
Not enough shooting. Really
if they
tough.
Both start.
Really tough spacing. They're both meh 3-point shooters.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And then you're kicking Jalen to the 3 and Tatum to the 4. And I really think you want Tatum to be playing 3. I honestly think at this point, we made fun of it last year, but because Horford is a different style of player, double big does make sense to start with one of these two guys at the guard, Jalen 2, Jason 3, Horford and Rob makes the most sense. If you kept Fournier, you could have gone 3 wings there theoretically if you wanted to, and then just started one of the bigs and bumped another one to the bench. I don't know what you're going to do there because I also don't know what you're going to do for a bench big at this point. Because who is your bench big if Rob and Horford
Bruno
start? Bruno.
What about closing out games?
Me, Bruno.
I think
so it is.
You'll see Marcus.
Dudley said this earlier, and if he wants to take a victory lap over it, I said this before I am still not against, and I'm still not against this. I believe that Nesmith should start. That does, however, kick Tatum to 3, and Jalen to 3 and Tatum to 4.
He's got to earn that, though.
But I just like the shooters.
I don't hate that at all. But again,
I think he has to earn that, though. I'd be surprised if they.
I think they're going to go double. I think they'll go double big. That's the safest lineup. But your rotations get a little funky.
They're gonna listen. They're gonna experiment. They're gonna experiment. They've got all off season to figure out lineup different lineups they can work with.
Yeah.
There's going to be points where Smart and Schroeder are going to be in the game together, but it doesn't necessarily mean they need to start. I mean, it could be matchup based too. I really don't.
Let's bring in some Sherrod.
What's up,
Sherrod, I told you.
There's our power forward.
You got to be looking out for Bobby. Where is he?
Bobby's literally in front of. I can see Bobby. Bobby, let him know you're alive.
By the light.
Bobby's alive.
We're worried about him.
My goal was to keep him alive, and I've done my job.
You keep him in view. That's good.
You strayed him from temptation. There you go.
Like literally, if I look at my camera up right now, who do you see?
That's perfect. There he is.
He is here.
Wow,
that's great. So, Sherrod just came here. We'd switched over to Schroeder, and we want to get your take on that too. But you guys are at the game, and you have a unique vantage point in there. You're covering the stuff. We're slogging through a broadcast here, most of which was spent talking about Schroeder giving up $84 million and really not much on the game. So it was pretty hard. It's pretty hard to follow what was going on. But you were there. Neesmith, obviously the story, but anything that, I mean, Pritchard was great too, but Neesmith, after the kind of grief we gave him last game, Sherrod, about how, hey man, you got to dominate if you're gonna do this thing against these sort of guys, and he went in and dominated.
He did, and it was good to see. We know he's always had that ability in him, but when you come in these type of situations and scenarios, you got to flex. You got to be that guy. And if we're being honest and real, nobody gave a damn about this game. We're all talking about Schroeder. That's really what we're concerned about. And John, the laugh on your face now, that is exactly what we did most of this game, thinking about $84 million that he just kind of pissed away.
That was the story, right?
Well, we're still trying to get a sense.
No joke. Like literally, Max on the broadcast, Abby would ask a question, and Max would be like, $84 million. She's like, but I'm asking you about Bruno Fernando. He's like, I know. He's like, I just can't get over it.
Max is going to spend at least a whole first half on that. But you know what, man?
He's going to spend the whole season on it.
On top of his jokes and his commentary, man, he was pretty funny. He was a good comic relief throughout the night for sure, Max.
Good. You need that this time of year during Summer League. You need that.
Yeah, Max crushed it.
No, but
no, that was fun.
Schroeder, I mean, $84 million. It's just the thing that we're all trying to get a sense of is whether or not this was him pissing away $84 million, or did he just get bad advice from his agent? And either way, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, and I was talking with someone who was a former NBA executive, and he said, think about this. You get to play with LeBron, you get to live in LA, and you don't have to be the first, second, hell, you don't even need to be the third option. And you're going to get $84 million? And you're like, no, I'm good. I can get more than that.
Yeah.
Bobby, you go fishing?
With the Lakers.
We're keeping the sun off my face here. I had 30 minutes of exposure earlier, and it was already too much.
When I first saw his head, I thought it was like
you in Vegas or the Canadian Rockets?
In the arena, my man.
Hey, there's windows. There's windows in here.
Oh, it's too good. He's got the ice pack underneath. No,
the real problem is once you put on a hat, your hair can't recover for the rest of the day. So you just gotta keep it on.
We didn't send him to cover Summer League. I sent Bobby to What About Bob auditions. Don't hassle me. I'm a local.
So where are we? Dennis Schroeder?
Yeah,
I love the move.
No, we're still on your fucking hat. That's what we're on.
That'll be a staple of the whole week. Don't worry. Anyway, Bobby, I tried to talk about the game, but Sherrod went right back to Schroeder. You pick them. I don't care. Yeah, something that stood out to you at the Vegas League game there that we're like you can bring insight to, or we can just jump on the Schroeder talk and go there.
Well, the players got the separation that they needed to today, right? Neesmith just blew it out the door in the first 3 quarters and could sit down and rest. Pritchard felt similarly dominant. So huge sigh of relief that those two guys were able to, yeah. I mean, 31 were in the first 2.5 quarters. So he just made quick work of this, hit 5 threes in like the first quarter and change. And, he was doing some stuff off the dribble, some sidestep stuff out there that he said he'd been working on throughout the offseason, just in terms of being able to hit the shots that he didn't last year. He was remembering all the difficult ones that he had to take early last year. And he's been working on those, and it looks like his shot's down.
Yeah, that was good.
So this is the complete reversal of the first game.
I hate all of you. All of you. Except for Bobby. I love Bobby. I hate the rest of you.
Sherrod.
Hey, leave Bobby
right across
alone. Leave Bobby alone, man. He bought that
don't realize how hot
shop off the airport.
I didn't see that one. I could tell before John put it up. He couldn't even control his laugh.
Does that say Caesar's Palace on it?
These are the 3 keys to my life: sunglasses, sunscreen, and a hat that goes all the way around.
Yeah, we can tell. Good. Good.
That was good stuff. I love it, Bobby. So, all right, let's move to it. Schroeder, you guys like it?
Of course.
Amazing.
For the price, I love it. Hell yeah.
This is such a good move that it almost completely reshapes my vision of the offseason. No, seriously, this is a guy who is one of the best free agent players, period, coming in this class. The Celtics had no cap space, no flexibility, and you get him on a one-year deal that retains flexibility and is completely cheap. There's no downside to here other than him possibly being unhappy with his role. Keith did tweet out that he's going to be accepting of a bench role. We'll see how that ultimately plays out in reality, because that's the biggest concern right now is whether or not he's going to actually break into the starting lineup. Certainly Marcus Smart's going to start over him. I'd imagine Josh Richardson will too. But this was, the runner-up for sixth man of the year 2 seasons ago in Oklahoma City. So I think that's the perfect role for him. It's the passing boost that they needed. He's not a great shooter, so he doesn't help their backcourt spacing issues that they have right now, but he's a great defender, so he fits with that theme of the team right now.
Yeah, agreed. I mean,
He's
some of the
a
comments.
good player. I mean, the bottom line is they got a good player for a way below market value price, and that's what you want. I mean,
you went from $80 million to $5 million. Come on.
We heard that. I just learned that.
Wait. Wait, what? What happened?
Bobby,
we were joking.
We're talking about it the entire broadcast.
Bobby, we were joking about it. You guys are there, so you didn't see it. They literally talked about it for 3 quarters of the broadcast.
Well, 3/4 of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, those were our takeaways too. It's you literally.
I can't wait till somebody asks him about it. What was going through your mind when you turned down that $83 million contract? No one's gonna ask him that.
No, that's got John Corrales right
now.
What
contract?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Just happy to be here.
Not verbatim, Junior, but to that effect. Someone's gonna ask.
So, Sherrod, Bobby threw it out there. He thinks he definitely comes off the bench. What do you think there? And again,
I don't think it's a definite thing at all.
I don't either. Yeah.
Particularly if you're talking about a guy that in Marcus Smart, who has shown the ability to be impactful both as a starter and coming off the bench. Schroeder, yeah, he did well in that 6-man role in the previous stop, but this is a different kind of team. And he's in a very different place. He's trying to get paid because he already let that ship go by.
You need offense, and he provides it more so than Smart does. That's the thing. Is like, yes, Smart's a distributor, but like you just need more. You need more offense in that starting lineup, and Schroeder is right now your third option.
And one of the things we actually got a chance to talk to Udoka today. And one of the things that he did say was that Marcus is going to have the ball in his hands more this year, which for some folks is like, no. But that's exactly what you want, because you know what that means. He's going to be looking to pass more. That was pretty clear with Udoka's comments that they want Marcus to be more of a facilitator. And if he's got more shooters around, he's going to do that.
So there were 2 comments I thought off of Ime, and you guys tell me your read, because that was one of them. Which was, and each one is like, and again, they were, like I said, they were a little compliment sandwichy, which is like, but it's spun positively, but it is a bit of a message, which is Marcus will have the ball a lot, and I expect him to be passing that ball, which is to say, there's not going to be any more 10 3-pointers coming from this guy under my watch. That's how I read that a little bit, which is we want him to have the ball, but then we want him to give the ball to other people.
Right. And we don't want him to turn over the ball.
Yes. And then the other one was, Jason and Jalen are elite scorers, but we also want them to be better playmakers. Hence, guys, you got to give up the ball when you get it sometimes. Like, you got to move the basketball. And I think that's with all of those things is we can't get into these rhythms that you got into last year where it's just iso ball, rotates over to Marcus and he jacks a 3 because he's so happy to have it. There's obviously, like, everyone's got to work to be better facilitators and better playmakers on this team, especially the guys who are going to have the ball the most in their hands.
Well, remember, that was kind of how, those early Brad Stevens teams played. I mean, they kept swinging the ball and they passed up a lot of good shots for great ones. This team doesn't do that anymore because they have 2 elite scorers in Jason and Jalen who can get their shot off pretty much whenever they want to. And that's, to me, that's a blessing and a burden for this team because those guys, I think, sometimes prime that pump a little too much.
Well, they have the personnel to get the ball moved more a little bit now, and this is what I do like about the Schroeder move more than anything is he's another guy who just keeps it moving, keeps it popping. And this is a great passer. They used to call him German Rondo. Remember those days?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So you got three quality.
They were into him when he was coming out. He was a guy who was linked to here as a guy who they really liked.
Brad's had eyes on him for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good two-way guy. At $80 million, you wouldn't have loved him, especially after the postseason he just had. It's just this discount getting here. The three guards that they're gonna have, and Sherrod sees him starting. I don't see him starting. Either way, you're still gonna be able to flow these guys in and out of different lineups and have about 5-6 players when you consider Horford, a little leap from the Jays in that sense, who can move the ball, who can keep it popping, and essentially have ball handlers and creators at every position. The things you're seeing Peyton Pritchard and possibly Yam here do as well. It all lends toward being a much better ball movement team next year. And of course, John, the best of them all, Rob Williams is what we see him as a ball mover. Every single position on this team, if the Jays commit to it, if they do make this leap that Ime talked about today, are able to move the ball and have this be a pass-heavy team next year, which is the exact opposite of what we watched last year.
No doubt about it. The again, as you guys have all said it, and we all agree, off-season saving, off-season altering, outlook altering move just in one fell swoop here changes the dynamic of things tremendously for this team. Where no joke, coming in, we're talking about them battle in the 8th seed, battling play-in sort of situation, and you feel like a great deal better about this team just for this one move. So that was, again, super huge here. Going back to the game, one guy I wanted to hit on, we did not hit on. Yeah, we were happy to see what we saw from Neesmith. We're happy to see what we saw from Pritchard, but Romeo.
I mentioned his dunk.
Quiet and casual. Another one of those performances. Had a dunk, but again, what did you guys see? It's again, you're closer there, closer to the action. Again, it looks like a little bit of coasting, a little bit of that urgency. One play stands out. He had a little drive and a terrible pass out of bounds when he didn't really know where to go with it.
Yeah, that was like right out the gate. Yeah,
had a couple of drives where he just kind of didn't really get by his guy and then either put up a shot awkwardly or just didn't really know, and it kind of got me questioning again is like, who do we want Romeo? Like, what you want Neesmith to be. I don't know what we want Romeo to be. I'm not even sure anymore when I watch him play. Like, what do you want him? And I was kind of grilling you a little bit on it, Sherrod. Like, everyone's got their roles. Everyone's got their stuff that they got to go out and improve upon. I don't even know what Romeo's supposed to be.
Oh, I think Romeo, he's supposed to be a versatile defender. He's supposed to be a secondary ball handler. So not that he's going to initiate your offense, but if teams are pressing, he'll bring the ball up and he'll set your offense every now and then. And he's got to make open shots. If he can do those things, then we're good. But the problem is he's not doing any of those damn things. Right. I remember vividly right out the gate where he had that. It was a contested shot in the paint that he just missed. And a drive, as you were talking about, John. Guy was, I believe it was Carson Edwards, was wide open in the corner, and he's just waiting for the ball, and the ball is like not even close. It just literally just goes straight out of bounds. He's got to be better. He has to be better for this team, for his own future.
Yeah, and then he's got that moment where he just jumps up and friggin' yaks it, and
right. And I think that's what's been great to see that. But I think that's what people are like, see, like. That's what we think he's capable of, but we just don't get that when he's on the court. He just kind of floats around. And again, he hit the game winner, in game 1. He had the dunk tonight. So there are these flashes and moments where maybe you consider that growth and improvement, but it's yet to be done in like a 48-minute or in this case 40-minute sort of span here. So that's what I think people are
not on him from the jump.
I know.
He doesn't do anything consistently. He shows you flashes and flickers of greatness, and then it's just like gone.
Exactly.
Like it's gone.
Right. And that's the criticism. That's what people are looking for this season is a little bit more consistency, a little bit more. I think the word is maybe like dependability. Like, can this guy give you 20 minutes of solid basketball? Like when he's out there? And
but
right now, yeah, John, to your point, I don't know what he is. I don't know what his skill is. It's like almost like Grant Williams-esque in a way. Like I don't really know what Grant Williams' skill is either.
What do you do here?
Not to make this about Grant Williams again, but
it's hard not to,
Vice
right?
Presidente alone. Jimmy, do not pick on El Vice Presidente.
hey.
Yeah. No, but for real, like, it's not fine. It would be great to get 20 minutes of a sustained effort, start to finish. And honestly, I actually think he had a couple of games where you did feel like this was a good Romeo game during the regular season last year. I'm looking for it again in Vegas. This is Vegas League. I'm looking for even a 5-minute stint where he looks like the best player on the court. Same thing that you wanted for with Neesmith, which is, hey, I was a blue chipper coming out of high school that like was one of the 3 or 4 best players in the country, and I got by people and I scored at will, and I could get downhill and I could do things. I just want to see a little of that. Little wiggle, little shake, get to the hole, beat a guy, score, be a scorer, do the thing you do well. If you can't do it against these guys, you're certainly not going to do it in the regular season. So again, you just want to see those little stretches where he just looks like one of the better players out there, and you're 2 games in, you haven't seen it. We shit on Neesmith over it, and in game 2, he looks like the best player on the court, and that's great. That's what you want to see. So maybe you get it.
John, here's the worry. Physically, he looks better. In terms of his skill and the things he's doing on the court, he pretty much looks like the player that came into the league 2 years ago. There isn't a whole lot of improvement. The shot looks okay. I thought the shot looked okay coming in after they did the with it that they did early on there, but every single setback he's had has prevented him from making progress. And you can use that as an excuse and say, oh, he's been injured, this and that, but it also just minimizes the amount of time that they're going to have here for him to improve before he is a free agent or he just ends up off this team. I've heard that thing thrown around about him over and over again, that this is like a fresh start for him after being hurt so much. But in what I'm seeing so far, even in the little pockets he's had to improve his game between injuries and COVID and all these different things, there just isn't enough improvement here out of his game. Like the finishing isn't there, the separation on the drives. He's not a knockdown shooter. I think he's an okay shooter, probably capable of shooting like 34, 35% in the league. So like you say, there just isn't anything exceptional here. What he's going to have to really dominate at his defense. And the spurts that we've seen from him at his best have been on the defensive side of the floor.
Yep.
There's not really a system in place here in Summer League to have defensive things stand out. So we're not going to see those kind of things here. But in terms of the wing position on this team, there are minutes to go around. And he has a pretty straightforward track to minutes if he can defend on the perimeter next to the Jays and just move the ball a little bit. There's really not a lot that they need him to do. Knock down the threes, move the ball a little bit, and defend. Like, he doesn't have to go out and score 20 points.
I know, but I've been waiting for that. I guess it just might never come. I'm waiting for that little intermediate.
I don't think it's there.
And like I said, this is a guy who was a scorer. He scored from a lot of different places on the court, and it's just strange to see him not do it.
In this environment, yeah. If you get some ball time, if you get some
in this
shots
environment,
like you would here in Summer League, yeah, that's true.
So again, when you talk about, directives from up above, what you want these guys to do, handle the ball a little bit, distribute, knock down a shot. I want to see him just be a little bit more assertive and aggressive. And like I said, do a little bit. And somebody just made this point. I think, like I said, Fultz would be current Fultz is actually, I think, Romeo's ceiling. And that might be asking a lot, but like a guy you're not expecting to do much, but to be able to maybe knock down some mid-range, but to be able to get to his spots. Markelle Fultz's number one skill was this, like he could get where he wanted to go. That's kind of what you thought Romeo was. I think
Fultz is a special passer from what I've seen of him in Orlando.
But his greatest offensive skill was he could maneuver his way anywhere on the court and get shots off. He's very good at getting to places on the court. He's really good at creating his shot that way. I would think that would be the best we could hope for from Romeo. So I'd like to see a little of that. That's all. If
he puts the ball on the floor, that'd be one thing. I mean, I think what he has potential in is the way he's able to turn the corner the way he does. But if you're not putting that in that 3-and-D kind of role, where do you fall here?
That's
I think
what I see, Josue.
Yeah, I think the defense is what is how he separates himself from the pack here. If he can be someone that they can rely on for consistent stops, then maybe you do with what you get on the offensive end, which is in transition not so bad, which we saw in that dunk. I'm surprised you guys didn't lead with that. You guys saw that dunk live, That's the kind of
pass by Fernando.
That's the kind of aggressive finish at the rim. I don't care who's in front of me. I'm putting the ball to the rim. Like that's the attitude I've never seen from Romeo until today. So at least that's.
But Josue, we saw all that other stuff. We saw it all. So
yeah, that was the one thing
that was
one
great
pure
dunk.
positive thing
to me, one of the better dunks you're going to see all season. But we had to see all that other stuff too.
Yeah. You can't unsee the rest.
Coasting. You said it, John. Coasting. Just is he out there? Is he fully committed to this whole summer league thing? That happened right before halftime, right? The whole first quarter, the whole second quarter, he was just kind of out there. That drive to the lane, toss the turnover, missed the layup inside. There wasn't really too much to pull from, and
then nothing in the second half
on this roster. Yeah,
you think he's straight from the Vegas Strip, Bobby? You think that's what's going on here? What's going on?
I haven't been here long enough to report on that, but we'll keep an eye out.
People in the chat are anxiously asking us to talk a little bit about Bruno Fernando. First impressions here, guys. Jesus. And again, this is theoretically your Mo Brown replacement. So
Who said that? Bobby said that.
I was a little annoyed about the Mo Brown thing. I still kind of sort of am. But there are some defenders on Twitter who are like, Fernando's better, dudes. So I don't know. You tell me, is he?
I liked his ability to put it on the floor. He did that a couple times here, had the and ones that basically made up his scoring there. He had the pass to Romeo on that dunk. So there is some high post dribbling potential in passing here on the offensive end of the floor. Defensively, though, he was getting hammered. Guys were getting to him at the rim. Guys are scoring over the top of him. He's 6'9", and it shows that he doesn't really have that rim protection potential there that a taller guy would, or a guy with more length would. So I see why he didn't play a ton in Atlanta. The defensive concerns are real with him, I think. He fouled a lot. But on the offensive side of the floor, he looks solid. Great finishing, great energy. That's what he talked about after the game, is just being an energy big man. Here's your Mo Brown. I don't see a huge difference.
In other words, he's ready for the big three.
Put it this way: Sherrod's wearing a mask, seated on a video chat link, and by his body language alone, I can tell he's not at all in on Bruno Fernando.
Yeah. Listen, again, what Bobby touched on, what really just got me completely off that train, and that's guys are just bouncing off of him with no resistance. I mean, I get it. He's not a rim protector, but damn, can you be like a rim, slow the man in front of you down a little bit? I mean, it was as if he was just like air, and they were just walking through air. I can't get down with that. I can't roll with that. I can't. I love what he did on the offensive end of the floor. He's got a great touch, and as Bobby pointed out, his ability to put it on the floor is a really nice dimension that, frankly, the Celtics could definitely use. But the defense, the offense. Because the offense was bad. Really
so
bad.
why is he here? Because I thought of two reasons he could possibly be here. One is, oh geez, we might need this guy, so he's got to get some reps in. Or we're maybe not thinking about keeping this guy. Let's see if he can show us something to convince us that he is staying here. Because someone does have to go now that Dennis Schroeder's coming on the roster. They have 16 players and there's only 15 spots. So is this kind of his last chance to show that he's going to be part of this roster here, or is he a lock and a guy like Parker is going to be handing out because of the non-guaranteed money?
I don't like either one of those cards that you just put on the table, to be honest. And I'm a big Parker fan because Parker has a skill that is consistently transferable. Like when we talk about Bruno's a pretty good scorer. He showed he can do some things, but he ain't a scorer like Parker. Not even close. He doesn't get
Parker. I could see Parker
defensively. They're pretty damn equal, that is not a compliment. That is so not a compliment.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him do more on the boards here because his per 36 rebounding numbers in Atlanta were pretty good. And
here comes Bobby.
Like, he can play
with
the 2-game sample.
This is the real 36.
There was a 2-game stretch right around the All-Star break where he was.
When the Celtics started the season 8-3. Right.
So maybe you pull out these Moses Brown stats. We can do that if you want, Bobby. Yeah. We could talk about the 3-week stretch Moses had.
Yeah.
We could talk about the 2020 piece that he put on the Celtics almost by halftime.
I know, Sherrod, but it goes beyond that. Like, I'm trying to tell these Celtics fans.
I know. He had a stretch where he was, you could say, statistically speaking, he was one of the top 3 or 4 bigs in the game for like a couple weeks stretch. Now, is he that good? No, but he played at that level.
He played like it, yeah. It wasn't Linsanity, but it was he erupted. He erupted a bit for a few weeks.
And at 7'1", you did have some more rim protection potential with him at that size.
Yeah.
I like the guy with the 20 rebound potential, though.
Who's more important to them, a guy like Bruno or Yam? Because I feel like Yam might be back overseas now after the Schroeder signing.
Yam's definitely not sticking around for this year. Yeah.
So
Yam had one glorious day as a Celtic, and that was last.
And they're like, get Schroeder on the phone.
That's funny you say that because he led with the whole it's a dream come true to be here, and that was it.
We're like, okay,
that's his last big game.
He'll be back next summer league.
Yeah. I'd love to see him on the 2-way spot, but it doesn't feel like that's gonna happen.
No chance.
Right before tip-off, like, you heard about this? Like,
no, he's got to go. He's got to hit the weights a little bit.
Yeah,
come on back. You're a little bit bigger. It's not bad for him. Look, why were we enamored with Yam? It's the great unknown. What if? Oh my God, oh my God, what if he's awesome? Haven't seen the guy. Right.
He's too professional.
Right. So you got to look. It was nice. Showed you a flash, maybe that he can be somebody who can contribute to the team at some point or another, but it's hardly a need. You're so desperate for something that I think people were like, what if this guy's amazing?
Right. Okay. You're just reaching now.
You're reaching. Yeah. It's better, way better for him to take a year and develop. And it's great now that you don't have to think about possibly needing him to contribute to this team.
And then possibly losing him, because what are you going to do? Really, all of a sudden you need a player like, a superstar comes available and you got to get rid of him, or you got to drop, you got to find a roster spot.
I like this one.
He did that on purpose, right? The way they were saying his name? Yeah, that's good. That's all right.
No, that's a good one. Yamashelli.
Nah, we're not going to go there yet.
They were saying his name like that, weren't they?
No. I think this guy. They're just having fun with.
The Yam and I don't know. I thought it was a triple entendre.
No.
Hey, well, guess what today's move signifies? Wick is paying tax this year. $6 million.
Poor guy. Did we start the GoFundMe now?
Yep. Send the link out. We said we wouldn't do it.
The money's flying everywhere now on Causeway Street.
We're gonna start it. GoFundMe, okay?
Well, what about Dunn? I mean, they still have a chance to unload some of these guys here. I mean,
yeah, I think that's still happening.
If they are trying to find a way to create a roster spot or to get further below the tax or whatever you want to call it, I mean, some of these guys are certainly expendable.
Yeah, you can stretch a guy now too, like $600,000 this year. That might be how you get rid of a guy like Edwards or Fernando if you do want to keep a Parker in town. Because, Rod, I do kind of like the scoring that Parker gives you in certain spots. He can play the 5 a little bit. I wouldn't mind sticking with. It's just the easiest to offload because he's non-guaranteed.
Also, a real off season again for him. You don't know. There's a possibility that he's.
I hope he's in Boston working out right now.
Right, and he wasn't close to game shape. It was a total lost season with injuries and all of that stuff. He didn't
play very well in the playoffs.
He didn't look close to NBA ready. So you do want to see, sure, he's banged up. He's had double knee surgeries. He's not the athlete that he was. He'll never be a good defender. But Sherrod points it out all the time. The number one thing, the most important skill in the NBA that you need that's at a premium, and when you have it, you want to hold on to it, is scoring, and he can score. And so if he's even a fraction of what he can be or what he could be, after a full offseason of work, it's still an asset that might be worth hanging on to and again, an offensively deficient team. This is a team that really does need to find ways to score the basketball. And if he can contribute at all on that bench unit, you want to find a way to keep him, I think. So I'm not as quick to dump Jabari just because,
just cause.
Can't defend.
Just cause, right? Exactly. Like it's again. not everybody's perfect. That's why they're bench guys. That's why they get paid. That's why they're laying around and you grab them free. Like they have particular skills. Cantor has a particular skill. It can be useful at times. If you rely on him 30 minutes a night as your starting center, you're going to get eaten alive. But Parker, again, 12, 15 minutes a night as a bench scorer, that can help you. So I'm down. I'm down with Jabari if he gets his body right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Parker or Bruno, because you do essentially have 6 centers right now, right? If you have Grant in that group. So one of those guys is going to have to go here. I think Dunn sticks around. His salary's a little high, and I do kind of think they want to see what he has in this game after 2 years off here. He's a good defender. Obviously was a guy they liked in the draft. I think he'll be sticking around.
Yeah. For some reason, Markkanen's name came up. Which doesn't seem like there's a world in which the Celtics could ever possibly go there. But, why is that being talked about?
Manic shot that down pretty quickly.
Shot it down pretty quickly, yeah. But why is that being talked about?
Because he's available, and he's a really good shooter. He's one of the best 7-foot shooters ever.
So it's enticing, but it doesn't seem realistic.
Speaking, he is.
A short list, but
doesn't seem realistic.
It's like 5 guys.
He had a good year last year.
He just slightly better than Manute Bol.
It's like Dirk, Kelly, Markkanen. Boom.
But was there a report that tied the Celtics to it? I totally missed it. It seems like a pipe dream.
It does, but I just think the Celtics have lots of areas that they obviously need to fortify and strengthen, and he could certainly give them that 7-foot stretch big, kind of like Bobby's guy who.
He's still out there.
I was just opening that door for Bobby to just
Luke.
Luke.
I got you again. What's his market looking like? I haven't heard any noise.
Try small, really small.
What's his market looking like?
Knows, he just doesn't want to say.
Looking like Quickie Mart is what his market's looking like.
All right. So what if you could orchestrate a trade that sent out Marcus a pick and like whatever.
Try trade Marcus again
for Markkanen. Would you consider it?
Damn it!
Ooh,
no way. You have your wings.
No way. Marcus is a Celtic.
Marcus.
No, seriously. Why would you not?
Why would you not?
I think there's a number of different reasons. I think Markkanen would have to get on pretty high salary at that point on 3 years if you're going to do a sign and trade, which I don't think is what you want to do with that kind of money and flexibility going forward that way. And if I just was looking at who I want to be here, Markkanen for 3 years or Smart for this extension that we were talking about, it's Smart because of the ball moving, the defense, the different things he brings to the table. Like Markkanen's okay.
7-footer who can shoot, man. I don't know. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, why hasn't he gotten an offer sheet? There's a reason.
Yeah,
streaky, right? Last season, streaky. After what we saw last year, and then plus the injury history and all that, like, I don't know. It's a risk. It's risky.
It's risky, but sometimes the biggest risk is not taking one, Joseph.
Oh, Jimmy. That's so not in your lane. Don't do that ever
again. Write that down.
You got that fortune cookie last week or something?
Write that down, dude.
Stayed with you? Jeez.
Why did I read that exact – what did I read that exact quote in today?
Jimmy, let us know because obviously that's
probably something I wrote. Probably something I wrote that you came across.
Oh, Jimmy, you wrote.
That was an old one from Jimmy.
Bobby makes a good point, though. It's like this guy's out here. This guy's just available. And I do think, like, giving this guy a 3-year deal just sort of on a whim seems like kind of
it's a value
aggressive move.
It's exactly what we talked about with Schroeder. If Markkanen wants to come on the biannual exception or whatever's left here, great. If not, if he wants 15 to 20 million for 3 years and a sign and trade, it's probably not going to happen here. Beyond all the issues that it would take to make that work under the hard cap and everything else. Josue's right. The injuries, the inconsistency, and just his fit on this roster to me is up in the air. And I think you need ball moving guards and defense a lot more than you need a stretch for right now.
Well, what are his options though? He returns for a year and hopes for a bigger deal next year.
I think that's his best play.
That's his best play at this point.
Yeah, especially with the team that he's on right now. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean that team should be better. They should be a playoff team, man. And if he does what he's supposed to do and ball out in the postseason, he's gonna get paid.
Lonzo took
too, right?
Just make sure that if someone puts $84 million on the table, you don't say, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, Lonzo took his money.
Lonzo took his lunch money. Damn.
He did. Lonzo took his lunch money. There's nothing left for Laurie.
Yeah, Celtics fans need to put that into the rivalry, okay? This is another chapter here. Celtics-Lakers rivalry. The Instagram post, all that. The Celtics pride. He's like, you know what? F the Lakers. And he's going to bring that energy all year long while everyone's going to have the Lakers under a microscope. It's great.
I like that. I like the prove-it nature of this deal. He's going to have to play good to get a huge deal that he wants now. Like, I just think there's so many good things about this move beyond the fact that it filled a need that they didn't address up to that point. Backup passing, ball moving guard that you thought maybe Patty Mills would be. Some of these other guards out there like TJ McConnell, he can do it just at the high level like those guys are able to as well. And ultimately, he ended up going for the same price as Mills and less than McConnell, which we never would have imagined.
McConnell, what did McConnell get? Double?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that?
Yeah.
He was about 13, I think, right?
Yeah. Marcus Smart money.
Yeah.
That was
Marcus money.
We thought that maybe the Celtics could get McConnell on the cheap, but man, we read that one wrong.
We don't get bird rights on
the cheap. That's even better.
Do we have bird rights on Schroeder?
No.
We do not, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm not sure.
No, you gotta have a guy 3 years.
You just got him.
No, you just got Fournier and we had bird rights.
Through a trade.
Fournier, he was in Orlando his whole career.
Through a trade, you can't do it on a free agent signing.
Yeah, he was in Orlando his whole career. Yeah.
Bird rights move in a trade with a player.
Right. They came over in the trade. So that's it on that one. So it is. We're past an hour. Some people I see just joining the stream and saying like, "Oh crap, I'm late." You can always rewatch it, of course. Start to finish here is a fun show. Talked about the game. Talked about Schroeder. Talked about Bobby's hat.
84 million.
84 million.
Bobby's ready for the clubs tonight. He's going. He's got
Listen, I'm wearing it tomorrow.
Yeah,
the comments aren't gonna stop me.
Well, you have to wear it. You have to own it now. Yeah, you can't
forget about it. Friggin' Hunter Thompson.
I think we're past the ownership stage of this process, Jimmy.
You own it. You're the only person who could own it.
CLNS is going to have their credentials revoked after this, just for that hat.
I like it.
No, I love it. We're in Vegas. We got Hunter Thompson vibes right there, Bobby. You friggin' go do it, and you crush it.
This is all about having a comfortable work environment.
Yeah, day one of Vegas. Bobby is there. Bobby's trying to have a comfortable work environment. We're creating a hostile one.
Bobby, promise you will not try to walk back to your place. Like
Bobby's my guy. I don't care what. That's my guy. But damn, comfortable working environment,
Bobby, you can't walk around Vegas. You gotta Uber or cab everywhere, man. So just remember that.
All right, John. I'll charge you.
High stakes. Give me high stakes.
Yeah, that was the worst. Like,
send me the receipts. Send me the receipts.
Hey, let's put
brother advice right there.
Let's put Bobby's Venmo up on the screen, and hopefully the fans can
Jimmy?
Send him some cab money.
Or the Patreon. That works too.
Or the Patreon. Yeah, support Bobby.
Yep. So just so everybody knows, we're here all week. Sherrod and Bobby are taking in all the games all week long. When's our next game?
I have no
idea.
Thursday.
Against the Magic. Lots of good young players on the Magic.
Thursday Magic. I'm going to be off. We got Patriots game that night as well. I'll be hosting a Patriots show. Post-game show over on our Patriots channel.
Preseason game one.
Preseason game one. Yep. So I'll be hanging out with Evan Lazar, possibly some other people there, doing Pat's content, but the guys will be back here in some form.
The laser.
Or another, doing another Celtics show, which would be great. But again,
it's not working, John. John's like, let's go. Fox, bro, you know the vibes.
I love it. I'm going down there. I'm going down. Yep, going down. Going down to Foxborough.
He's going.
It's fun, man. It'd be fans again.
Oh man, I can imagine. After last year,
I covered a couple games last year. It was so weird in that huge stadium. Oh man, it was weird, man.
I bet.
Yeah, even more so than the basketball. I thought, but anyway. But yeah, like I said, follow Sherrod's coverage. Sherrod, you want to give yourself any plugs here? Any stuff you have coming up here?
Nothing specific. I got a Russell Westbrook story coming out very soon. It may be out already today. Just about Russell, that ego, and is that going to work in La La Land?
Very nice.
No spoilers. I'm going to read it
No
and find out
spoilers. That's why it was phrased as a question and not an answer.
That's it. He also wrote something very recently on Grant Williams with a one-on-one. You want to check that out as well. Bobby's going to have stuff over on CLNS Media, so make sure you check that out also. In addition to off-day reports tomorrow with the team, and they'll be practicing other things. Tons of games, tons of action, so there'll be a lot of coverage coming out of Vegas. So make sure you check out clnsmedia.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channels if you haven't already for all that good stuff. We'll be back on Thursday, as we said, with a post-game show. Other than that, guys, anything left?
Do we have any sponsors that we need to plug right now?
Yes and no. We've got our own ways here, but you know,
just making sure. I don't want to make sure that
no.
Get paid.
The guys they know what they're doing. They know
what
they're
you
doing.
did there, Jimmy. I see what you did there,
dude. I just want to make sure that check.
I got you.
Yeah,
you've saved us in the past.
That reminds me of the days on the parquet. Jimmy would say that right before we're about to go on. All right, 3. Hey, we got any sponsors, guys?
Oh shoot, yeah, right.
Looking into my crystal ball, Thursday is going to be it's going to be all about Mac Jones and Romeo. It's going to be Romeo's day.
Oh yeah,
right.
Let's see we're gonna go.
And I won't be there for it. If Romeo has a big game, I'm gonna do both shows.
I wonder who will dominate. Who will dominate the headlines in Boston? Will it be Romeo or Mac Jones? It's a good question.
John likes his chances on that one. That's why he put that out there. He's like, yeah, if he has a good game, I'll hop on there. He's like,
no, I am. I'll do a guest spot if he has a good one.
I think the question should be who's gonna get more crap, Mac Jones or Romeo? That's really the question.
Yes.
So, like I said, subscribe, check out the replay if you're late to the stream. And as I said, we had a fun show. Sherrod and Bobby have lots more work to do down in Vegas, so we will let them go.
Only 7 over there. You guys are chilling.
Oh,
they got a lot to do.
Oh, you got dinner plans. Sherrod's like, let's go, let's get out of here.
I am hungry. It's been a long one.
All right, do your thing, guys. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks to Jimmy. Thanks to Josue. Thanks to all of you guys joining the chat as always and hanging out with us. It's Summer League. We got a full house here. It's fun. We got the people back. We got the band back together. We're having a lot of fun doing it. So we'll be back again. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday.